Got it. Got it. Come. Everything's all good. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Good morning, everyone. We can go on the record.
You're on the record, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
I see you speaking, Mr. Court Reporter, but I didn't hear you. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me now, Your Honor?
Doug, I still don't see you. If we're on the record, nod your head yes. Okay, sounds good. All right, good morning, everyone. Today is March 21st, 2023. My name is Jennifer Grace. I'm the Public Utility Law Judge assigned to handle this matter. The matter that we're here for today is Maryland Public Service Commission case number 9506Q, which is in the matter of the continuing investigation of the electric fuel and and power cost adjustment charges of Thurmont Municipal Light Company. We can start with appearances from the company.
Thank you, Your Honor. My name is Thomas Rudabush, the law Duncan Weinberg, Kent, and Pembroke, appearing here on behalf of the town of Thurmont.
Your Honor, can you hear me now?
Do we have Mr. Schumrick on the line?
And joining me,
Yes, ma'am. This is Jim Humrick, Chief Administrative Officer of the town of Thurmont. Good morning.
I'm not hearing anything. Well, that's a disaster. Let's see.
we can hear you.
All right, give me just a minute.
So apparently she didn't hear anything I said.
And Tom, it was.
Guess what? I think it's my computer. I'm gonna have to bear with me this morning. I have two virtual hearings going on at the same. Well, I have a virtual work group meeting and this virtual hearing going at the same time. So I'm using two laptops, and this one is not mine. Okay, Mr. Rudabush.
Thank
I
you.
saw you talking.
Can you hear me now?
I can.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, it's Thomas Rudabush of the law firm Duncan, Weinberg, Genzer, and Pembroke, appearing on behalf of
Mr. Rudabush, you're gonna have to get closer because you're cutting in and out.
Nothing's changed since
Mics are
then.
directional.
Is it better?
Yes.
It's Tom Rudabush, appearing on behalf of the town of Thurmont, doing business as the Thurmont Municipal Light Company. With me today is Mr. Humrick, the Chief Administrative Officer, and Mr. Tyler Hubbard, the Electric Utility Director.
Thank you. And for OPC?
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Sammartino on behalf of Office of People's Counsel. I'd also like to enter the appearance of Mr. Ryan Shu.
Thank you. And for staff?
Good morning, Your Honor. Annette Garofalo on behalf of Commission staff.
Good morning. All right. So we'll turn now to the to Thurmont. Do you have some documents you wish to enter?
I do, Your Honor. I'd like to have marked as Exhibit T-1, the certificate of publication of newspaper notice that was published on February 23rd, 2023. And it's filed as mail log number 30164. And I'd like to enter that into evidence, Your Honor.
Mail log number 301641 filed on March 6, 2023 is marked as Thurmont Exhibit 1. Is there any objection to its admittance at this time?
No.
Thurmont Exhibit 1 is admitted into the administrative record. And Mr. Rudabush, do you want to call your first witness?
I do, Your Honor. I'd like to call Mr. Christopher S. Sims to the stand.
Mr. Sims, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Are you in a separate location from Mr. Rudabush?
Yes, I am.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Rudabush.
Mr. Sims, would you state your full name and business address, please?
Yeah, my name's Christopher S. Sims. My business address is 12709 Sunset Avenue, Suite C15, Ocean City, Maryland, 21842.
Thank you. And do you have before you a set of direct testimony and exhibits testimony of 4 pages plus a 1-page exhibit marked CSS1. Do you have those in front?
Yes, I do.
Were they prepared by you or under your direction?
Yes, they were.
If I were to ask you these same questions today, would your answers be the same?
Yes, they would.
Do you adopt this testimony and exhibit as your sworn testimony in this case?
I do.
And did you cause this testimony and exhibit to be filed as mail log number 301641 on March 6th?
Yes, I did.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
OPC?
Thank you, Your Honor. I do have a couple questions for this witness.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Sims.
Good morning.
On page 1 of your direct testimony, beginning at line 26, you explain that the company adjusted its February 2023 wholesale purchases forecast by 800,000 kilowatt hours to account for lower than expected line losses, correct?
That's correct.
And these adjustments are intended to bring the line loss number from 3.2% up to the company's average of 4.2%, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, on page 2 of your testimony, beginning at line 4, you explain that the company made a similar adjustment in case number 9506N. Has the company made any similar adjustments to line losses in other prior PCA hearing proceedings?
In all likelihood, there were others off the top of my head. I don't remember exactly which ones, but I have been doing the town's PCA filings since probably 2008 or so. So there's undoubtedly others in there.
And in the time that you've been doing the town's PCA filings, do you recall any years in which the line losses exceeded the company's average?
There very well could have been. I mean, it really just depends on the weather. This timing, the way that the timing works out, since the town reads their meters on the 15th of the month and the wholesale meter is read on the calendar month, it really just depends on where the relatively, I would call it extreme weather is relative to when they're read on the retail side versus when they're read on the wholesale side. But there are times, yes, when the line losses could be at 6%, and we would have made an adjustment down at that time because that would have caused them to over collect in their PCA had we have just left it alone.
Okay, so just to clarify, so in the years where the line losses are in excess of the company's average, then the company makes a downward adjustment to bring the line loss number closer to the average?
That's right.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sims. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Sammartino. Staff? Ms. Garofalo, you're going to have to unmute your mic. Apparently my rough start has rubbed off on you this morning.
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Sims. I have no questions for you.
Thank you. Before I return it to you, Mr. Rubenbush, I'm just going to ask a kind of a layup question. Mr. Sims, sometimes, as you know, this is live on YouTube and this is a public hearing. So sometimes it's easier for the public to understand something when we just explain it in our own words, not in testimony. So would you please explain the line losses in your questions 4 and 5 on your direct testimony at page 1 and 2, why those occur and what the company did in response to that?
Yeah, so distribution line losses is the difference between the wholesale power that is purchased by the town, and that wholesale power is measured at what's called the interconnection meter, where it interconnects with the larger transmission owner company. And so in order to deliver that power from the wholesale meter to the retail customer, it goes through step down transformers. And when it steps down the voltage and the power, there's actually losses due to heat and just the distance overall that the energy has to travel. There's certain losses that occur as you get it from the wholesale meter to the retail customer. So there's always a difference in the amount of retail sales, and they're typically lower than the wholesale purchases. And so those distribution losses for the average municipal utility of this size is right in that 4, maybe 5% range. And so what occurred here is, since the wholesale meter is measured, as I mentioned before, is measured on the actual wholesale purchases during the exact calendar month. The meter is read exactly at midnight on the 1st and exactly at midnight on the 30th or 31st, or even the 28th in this case. And so the retail meters are read around the 15th of the month. And so there is not an exact lineup in the retail sales, the actual days of retail sales, as there is the days for wholesale purchases. And as a result of that, you get fluctuations of line losses that are outside of what you would expect to be normal. And so in this instance, when you have lower than expected line losses, what that's saying is you have more retail sales relative to your wholesale purchases than you were expecting. So that would mean that the wholesale purchases at the end of the month that are included in this is during a time where that month had mild weather. And so there were not as many wholesale purchases as you would make when you add in the retail sales for that particular 2-week time period. Would be exaggerated and overstated, and so that causes a lower than average line loss. I can tell you, I did just get the retail sales for February, and when we do add the February retail sales in there, the line loss average did return to about 4.1%. So it's pretty much right in line with what I was anticipating, and that's essentially what we're just accounting for, difference in the timing of when the retail sales are measured and when the wholesale purchases are measured.
Thank you for that explanation, Mr. Sims. Mr. Rudabush, do you have any redirect?
Your Honor, I don't, but I would like to have Mr. Sims' testimony and exhibit marked as T-2.
T-2 is marked, and is there any objection to the admittance of T-2 at this time?
No objection, Your Honor.
Objection.
Thank you. T-2 is admitted into the administrative record. Thank you, Mr. Rudabush.
Thank you.
Is there anything else from the town?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. OPC, do you have a witness?
OPC does not have any witnesses, Your Honor.
Mr. Sammartino, what is OPC's position on the recommendations of staff and Thurmont?
OPC's position is that the company's adjustment to the February 23 forecasted wholesale purchases is reasonable, and OPC has no objections to the proposed ACA factor, nor does OPC have any issues with the company's procurement practices for the period under review.
Thank you, Mr. Sammartino. And staff, you want to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor. Staff would call Tanika Alexander.
Ms. Alexander, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
And are you in the same room as staff counsel?
No.
Okay. Can you spell your name for the court reporter, please?
Sure. T as in Tom, A as in Apple, N like Nancy, Y, E, A as in Adam. Last name is Alexander, A like Apple, L, E, X, A, N as in Nancy, D as in David, E, R.
Thank you. Your witness, Ms. Garofalo.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Alexander.
Good morning.
Do you have in front of you a document entitled Direct Testimony of Tanika Alexander, Tanika R. Alexander, dated March 17, 2023?
I do.
Was this document prepared by you or under your supervision?
It was.
And do you have any changes or corrections you would like to make to this document today?
No, I don't.
If you were asked the same questions contained in this document, would your answers be the same?
Yes.
And Do you adopt this document as your sworn testimony for purposes of this case?
I do.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would ask that the direct testimony of Tanika R. Alexander be marked for identification as Staff Exhibit 1 and admitted into evidence.
Staff Exhibit 1 is marked. It was filed on March 20th, 2023 under mail log number 301881. Is there any objection to admitting Staff Exhibit 1 at this time?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Staff Exhibit 1 is admitted.
The witness is available for cross-examination.
Thank you. Mr. Rudabush, do you want to go first?
I have no questions for the witness, Your Honor.
Mr. Sammartino?
I have no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
I also have no questions for this witness. Thank you, Ms. Alexander, for your testimony today.
Thank
Be
you.
excused. Are there any other matters that we need to take up this morning?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for your presence this morning virtually. Sorry for the initial issues with getting this hearing rolling. We can go off the record. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Master Court Reporter.